This is the Be the Solution podcast, and my guest today is Shannon Cheplak. Shannon coaches women to not only get in the best shape of their lives, but to improve their personal and professional lives through health and fitness. She has over 10 years' experience in health and fitness coaching. Welcome, Shannon Cheplak. Shannon Cheplak, welcome to Be the Solution.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
Oh, excited to talk with you today. So I'm going to dive right in, Shannon, with questions for you.
Absolutely.
Okay. So everybody always wants to get in shape. I mean, I don't hear anybody that doesn't want to be healthier and be in better condition. What the heck holds us back?
Man, you know what? There's so many different factors. I feel like people have to be uncomfortable enough to change. Maybe
Yeah.
you just haven't been to that place where you're uncomfortable enough to be like, this has to be something I do. Because there's two things. People either, when they want to change something, they're either changing to move towards pleasure or to move away from pain. So whether it's you know what I mean? Whether it's a goal like, okay, I'm going to the beach and I want to look good, and so that's a pleasurable thing. Or where they're just in this spot where they're like, man, my health is bad. Maybe, their business isn't doing well, their marriage isn't doing well. So they're trying to move away from that. So that you just have to be to that point where enough is enough. So that's the biggest thing, because most people are kind of like in a comfortable place. They're not too uncomfortable. My life's not that bad. So it's hard to make changes in those situations.
All right. So you're either pushed in one direction or the other, which makes perfect sense.
Mm-hmm.
So you work with mainly women, although probably have men clients as well, but mainly women. And you see, okay, the husbands, they stop eating junk and maybe exercise a little bit, and then in a month we lost 4 pounds. No, sorry, we lost 1 pound and they lost 7.
Yeah. I have that situation with my own husband. He can go down one day, and I'm like, it's very different. Okay, so women's hormones, we're so different than men in the places that we hold fat. Also, it depends on the human, because there's even some men that, because we coach everybody together. I mainly focus on the women, but I do all the nutrition for everyone. And like I said, one thing is going to be definitely hormonal. Have to understand that throughout the month, based on your cycle, based on different things, your weight goes up and down, and it has nothing to do with the food that you're eating. Zero. Also, stress adds to it as well. If you are high stress, that's going to affect weight loss for sure.
And cortisol.
Yeah, high cortisol, not sleeping well, things like that. But also, like I said, just during the cycles throughout the month, because you'll see somebody that's, on the same, even myself, it's very normal that when you hit that like menstruation week or even things during menopause, your weight can shoot up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pounds during that week, but you're not gaining fat. It's just hormonal in your body that you might be a little bit inflamed, or you might have a little bit of swelling, things like that, water retention, all of those things. So each individual is different depending on how long they've been dieting, because a lot of women will restrict calories for way too long, and then your body adapts to that in your metabolism, so it's even harder to lose weight at that point. So that's one thing, because I grew up where you didn't eat fat, you didn't eat, when I was like in the 80s and 90s, how did you diet? You had a Diet Coke and some cottage cheese, and that was like your day.
Right. I did get I got a half sandwich. I wasn't getting a whole sandwich. A half sandwich, maybe an apple, I don't know. Not a lot.
Yeah, not a lot of food. So some people's when you do that for so long, your body adapts to your body will adapt to low food. Like when you're on it for a certain amount of time, your metabolism will adapt to that and be your new metabolic set point, you know? And as we get older and hormones change, that becomes even harder if you've allowed yourself to be in that state for so long. And so what I focus on with women and is giving them more nutrition so that their bodies can easily, you know, get a higher metabolism and have the nutrients that you need. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you need the
Yeah,
nutrients for not only your body, but so your mind actually works.
absolutely. That's the thing. I was on a Zoom with a client a few months back, and she thought the things that she was going through was caused by menopause, like strictly menopause, not realizing in that it was from her nutrition because she had brain fog. She would get really sleepy, and she's a high performer. She'd get really sleepy around like 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And it's because we wake up, we have coffee, work really, really hard until about 2 o'clock. And then you're like, oh, I got to eat. And then you're eating like a bagel, something, whatever's there, whatever you can shove in your mouth in that moment. And the nutrition, the actual nutrients that your body needs is out the window. So after we structured her, diet, and I was like, you got to eat more food. She was like, I thought it was all menopause. My brain fog went away. I'm not tired anymore. Like, and lost weight on more food because she wasn't starving her body anymore. She was feeding it what it needed. So it goes into all of that goes in together.
Yeah, it absolutely does. I know from firsthand.
Yeah. Yeah.
Firsthand
I
how it
gotta
all.
I'm gonna text you all day and be like, what'd you eat? Eating?
Did you eat enough? So today, even
Yeah.
I just was eating avocado, shrimp, salad. Well, I had lettuce and cucumbers. I didn't finish it because I will finish it though in shortly.
Yeah,
But
I'm a
still not
big
enough
eat
food.
more. I'm eat more, eat more, eat more, eat more, you know?
Eat more, 100%. Absolutely. So one of the things I know that's really important, and I'd like to talk for you to talk about this today is weight training and
Mhm.
how you really need to do the weight training to change the look of your body, but also to speed up your metabolism. Because I don't think walking is just enough or riding a bike.
No. So I talk about that a lot because there's this cardio mindset. Well, I just got to do more cardio. I got to do more cardio, and when you're doing cardio, one, I'm for cardio because it's good for your cardiovascular health, but I'm not for it in the terms of use that for weight loss because it becomes like a punish and reward. I do cardio so I can eat, or I ate too much. Now I got to go do cardio, and I don't like that because it's it becomes a vicious cycle of, like I said, punishment when you do strength training. And let's not even focus on changing the actual way that your body looks, the composition of your body through strength training. But I want to focus on when you're building lean mass on your body, that inevitably increases your metabolism because you need more nutrients to feed lean mass. And you're literally burning calories in your sleep. So if we're thinking about just burning calories, yes, that's part of it. But as you age, you need that to age gracefully and to be healthier. Like nobody wants to be 70 years old and barely can walk. You know what I mean? Because they have no lean mass on their body. Their bone density goes down. It helps bone density. There's so many, if you're active and you're actually building tissue, there's a lot more benefits than just looking better. As you want to be a stronger, more capable human as you age, not, people have to take care of you. You can't, what if you fall? Like you can't pull yourself up. You want to be able to do these things.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think everybody should be doing it, myself included. I'm on a journey.
Yeah,
Um, so what does alcohol do to your body?
man. So we try not to get on the soapbox about
Well,
it
we
too
could
much.
talk about it because I like to talk about it because I'm going through this journey right now of like
Yeah.
eliminate a wine.
Yeah.
And
I
I don't
mean,
say that's what the alcohol that I drink. So I don't that's no like I say eliminate wine. Eliminate it drinking, period. For the
yeah,
time being.
that's just the one that you prefer.
Correct.
So, I try not to, like I said, get on the soapbox about it too much, but alcohol literally poisons your body. It does, and it's cognitive function. It affects that. It affects, muscle mass. Not only when you drink it, there's calories in it. I love when I hear people say, well, I thought vodka had no calories. I'm like, no, it does. So if you're thinking in terms of macros, if just like the most simple part of the fact that alcohol literally, poisons your body, poisons your liver, things like that. We'll go to more of like a logical place with it in dieting so that it doesn't seem so like, oh, it's poison. But so there's macros. So protein is 4 calories per gram. Carbs are 4 calories per gram. And fat is 9 calories per gram. Alcohol is 7 calories per gram, almost as much as fat.
Mm.
So when that's the when people go, oh. So the mixer, when people go, well, I didn't have the mixer has less calories in it than the actual alcohol has in it.
Wow.
See? So that's one thing. So you think about, okay, you have a drink, say it's 250 calories. You have 4 drinks. You're 1,000 calories over your day, but people don't realize about the actual caloric intake. And then you're replacing the nutrients that you need for that day with alcohol. Because people will try to track, once they understand that, they'll try to track it and like plan it into the day. Well, I want to have some drinks. And as you move away from drinking, then when you have a drink here and there, you start to feel the effects. I've had women who don't typically drink very much, or they're, going through their fitness journey and they hadn't had a drink in a while. And then they drank. And then the next day they text me and they're like, why do I have so much anxiety today? And I said, because you drank yesterday. Like causing like their body to shake and have anxiety and not be able to sleep and things like that. That's one of the biggest things I see, is that it causes anxiety in people, especially as sometimes people are used to that feeling. Like that's how you feel all the time. So you realize it's from something like the alcohol that you're drinking,
Hmm.
until you stop drinking it. Then you're like, wow, that's why I felt that way.
Hmm. It's interesting. Well, in the last 22 days, I lost 3 inches off my waist because of drinking wine.
See? But I mean, you
Well,
have
I
to
know
put
that
it,
it had calories. I mean, that was part of the decision was, okay, let's see. Bottle of wine, let's say 700 calories. Let's just say over the week it was 5,000 more calories.
yeah,
Well, that's a pound and a half.
it's wild. Think about it that way, because people are like, it's just wine. Or even the next day, they're like, well, I feel skinnier after I had it. And I'm like, well, that's because you're dehydrated. So it was just, your body's dehydrated, like suck the water out of your body. So you physically feel skinnier, but you didn't lose fat from drinking the night before,
Oh, definitely not.
Yeah.
And then it slows our metabolism. What about that?
Yeah. I mean, definitely it slows it because you're not getting actual nutrients, besides the chemical effects and things like that. And the one thing about alcohol too is it's legal, so it's just so accepted. And
Well,
as if,
it's accepted everywhere. Okay, let's see. I had a great day let's celebrate with a
with
drink. I had
alcohol.
a bad day. Let's pour ourselves in misery.
Mhm.
You
Think
know,
about
everything you go to.
well, think about it, okay, say alcohol never existed, say it didn't exist right now, and it just came out right now. And they're like, "Oh, we've got this liquid that is going to make you really, like, messed up, this and that and the other." Think of all the effects that you have, like, from a drink. If you were just, like, pitching that right now, nobody would drink that. Like, nobody if you just came out with alcohol right now with all the information about it, because especially, like, we're in a very aware, age where people are aware and they look at studies and things like that. If it was a new product that you came out with right now, nobody would touch it. I mean, maybe very few people would touch it, but most logical people would never touch it if you came out with it now.
I think if you put all the things that it does, and because if you look at a wine bottle or a vodka bottle, it doesn't say, let's see, slows metabolism,
Yeah.
causes cognitive, bad cognitive functioning, causes brain fog, causes dehydration. Like there's no,
Birth defects.
yeah, like
Like,
if the thing could be this
it's
long, like
wild. It causes birth defects or low weight or what, all the things that it does. Besides liver cancer, it causes literally can cause cancer. That, and that when someone says to me like that, because people, and you could feel about this either way, they'll be like, "Oh, diet soda causes cancer." I go, "Do you drink?" And they're just like, I said, "Do you drink alcohol?" Because it's all in, sometimes for some people, they'll be like, "Well, I only have like organic food. We don't have this in our house," which is totally fine. I don't drink sodas or anything, which is also totally fine, unless it's like a ZV or something like that. And they're like, "Because it's poison and there's all these chemicals in it and this and that." And I go, "Okay, well, do you drink alcohol?" Like, you're just like, it's counterintuitive. Like, you just drink alcohol, but like you want to be this way, then you should probably cut the alcohol out as well. You know, it's it's a peer pressure thing too. Everybody's drinking because we coach agents, team leaders, brokers, and they go to these events and they'll be like, "Everybody's drinking around me." And I'm like, then, just don't be around those people that are drinking. You got to remove yourself. Or if you have to be in that situation where you have to be around those people, one of our clients was like, "You know what I learned? I always have a drink in my hand and it's soda." Like, they don't know what it is. It's like club soda or something like that. And like, I just have it in my hand at all times. So nobody tries to get me a drink,
Mm.
you know?
It's not terrible.
It's,
Think about it. Like
it's,
the fact that people will say something, negative about not drinking. I have a friend who I spoke with over the weekend, and she said, "Oh, well, you did this long enough now. Back to the wine."
yeah. Um,
And, it's kind of like people don't generally like when you do something different than you've
Absolutely.
done. And so I'm not faulting her or
Oh, of
anything like
course.
that, but still, probably inappropriate to say, um, people like you the way you are, and when you make changes, it makes people uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And part of that uncomfortableness is what I found, Shannon, and you could give me your thoughts, are that they like everybody when you do something out of the norm, that means they have to look at themselves and they know that they probably shouldn't drink either, right? They probably know that they need to cut back or whatever it is. I'm using this because that's what we're talking about, but
Yeah.
and and people don't want to hear it and they don't want to look at it. It's like the old saying of like bury the head in the sand, or if you
Hmm.
don't look at it, it's not happening.
Hmm. You've taken the words out of my mouth. That, with drinking especially, or, a weight loss journey, eating differently. People don't want you to move up. They want you to be where they are. They and there's people, obviously there's people in your life that root you on and things like that. I'm not discounting everyone, but it's almost like sometimes if you did that and then you came back down, they get a little joy out of it because, like you said, because it's more of like a gratification, to them. Like, yeah, so she couldn't do that, so that justification of that it's okay. Like, oh, because she couldn't do that, so I'm justified in doing what I'm doing. And when you progress around people, it really makes them feel they have to look, like you said, they have to look into themselves when you're progressing. And it makes them feel insecure, obviously. And I have also found that if people don't grow with you, not saying that you need to cut people off or whatever, but in my journeys, I've definitely been like, it's not that I don't love you. It's just that we're not in the same place. And I have to be around people who are either doing what I'm doing or doing it better than what I'm doing. Because you'll never level up if you keep that type of people around you, you know? So you have to be around people that either, like you said, are doing exactly like you're both the same, or they're going to bring you to the next level, not people that are going to bring you down to where you used to be. So it's really important.
It's so hard. It's so hard for people to do in general. I always use the analogy of the crab in the bucket.
Oh, yeah. I love that.
And everybody always says, what do you mean? I said, did you ever see the crab?
Mm-hmm.
He's going, trying to get out of the bucket. What happens? And they all like stare at me. And I'm like, what
Mm-hmm.
happens to the crab?
Yeah.
And they're like, I said, did you ever see a crab get out of the bucket?
Yeah.
I said, all the other crabs, pull them back in.
Mm-hmm.
But that's the mentality of our society. So that's kind of
Mm-hmm.
how it works, just generally speaking. So we have to work extra hard to rise up above that and be the solution.
Yeah.
100%.
Absolutely. No, for real. And I stay on people. I never give up on anybody. I'm going to be who I am, and I'm going to work on it, because sometimes they're just not in the moment where they're ready, like
100%.
we talked about.
100%. I wasn't ready for, I don't know, a while. For whatever reason.
Yeah.
I have my own reasons for that, but I liked my little thing,
Mm-hmm.
and then you just make a decision. But you got to make a decision at some point.
Well, also change is uncomfortable,
Yeah. So you know what, Shannon? I was like, so I'll give my just it's been a few weeks, 22 days. Today's day 23. So 22 days. And I was worried. I'm like, oh man, well, how am I gonna feel, not having my wine? And I want to be clear, I didn't go home and drink 3 bottles of wine.
Yeah, no.
This is like a bottle of wine, but it was consistent.
Passed out face down on the floor.
It was daily. There was no drunkenness. This was my relaxation. Some people might smoke a J or run or something. I don't know. But this was what I did.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't always like this. It just kind of progressed.
Yes.
And so when things, and I thought about it, I'm like, I know this isn't healthy, drinking all this wine, especially that I have, type 2 diabetes, because I need to lose the weight.
Yeah.
So it's not helping. I'm not helping myself. I want to get off the medication, and I want to actually get off this medication, go on another medication, and I want to lose this extra 30 pounds. And I want to see, my whole thing is be the solution. We are our own solution. We can be our own solution. Not saying we don't have to have help with it, but it has to be, if it's up to us, it has to be, right? We have to do it. So it's an experiment too. So I wanted to see, how would I feel? Would I be freaking out? I thought maybe I'd be freaking out.
Mhm.
Now, it's interesting because I've stopped drinking many times over my lifetime. This isn't like the first time, but the last time was a while ago. It was probably about 5 years ago, outside of like a week here, a week there, but like an extended period of time. And I remember back then I was very angry.
Mhm.
Like, I was like, when is this like, because I was, dieting, isogenics, when's this 3 months going to be up? And I was not angry, but irritated.
Yeah.
But I really I wasn't irritated. Wasn't angry. I did have one little anger spout one night, but for like about 20 minutes, and I got over it because I
Mhm.
remembered why this was what the why was. But I really haven't even craved the wine, which I found so interesting.
How often were you having a drink every single day?
Yeah, a bottle.
And that progressed. So I would like you really think
So I was
about
drinking a bottle of wine.
a
So I didn't
bottle
have
of
any.
wine a day.
Yeah, it's 4 glasses.
That's when and and I'm not saying I don't want to take it anyway, but that needing that every day, that's not good. I would say it in the
No.
like nicest way possible. It's not good and that's when it like progressed like that. It becomes I wouldn't say that it like an addiction, but it is because you're worried about taking it out of your life and how you're going to act
Well,
from
here's
taking
the
it out of your
craziest
life,
thing. I took it out and nothing happened.
which
Which
means we don't need it.
no, which means I don't need it, but also,
Yeah.
it's I didn't crave it, right? So
Mhm.
my thing is I'm gonna be on this journey, and then if I'm in Italy and I want to have a glass of red wine, I'm gonna have a glass of red wine.
Yeah.
So
When was
but
Go
I
ahead,
didn't
sorry.
keep I stopped like keeping wine in the house. I would just go buy a bottle and that would be that. So, because you could have a bottle and then open another bottle. Not uncommon.
Yes.
Lots
If
of
it's
people.
there.
Yeah,
Mhm.
lots of people do it, but I'm not saying it's right. But anyway. And the
When
craziest thing, I wasn't even like didn't I wasn't really it didn't really affect me too much because, over time you build up tolerance to it. So
Well, yeah.
it was a
How
relaxation and it was like a ritual. Because I come home, I cook the food, pour a glass of wine. I make
Mhm.
some wine, I'd be cooking, so I'd have like a glass and a half, then I would have a glass with dinner, and there was a glass and a half left, and I drank that after dinner. So this was over like 2.5, 3 hours.
Mhm.
So
How long were
now,
you doing that for?
I don't know, a little while.
Yeah, I'm just curious. When was the last time here's my question, I'm gonna need some coaching here. When was the last time you had blood work done?
Well, I'm getting it done in a couple weeks.
I would be very interested to and how long do you plan on actually, sticking with the not drinking? Just kind of in general, and then maybe a glass if you're going to Italy
Yeah,
or something like
I
that.
really haven't made a decision. Definitely not before the doctor appointment,
Yeah.
which is in, yeah.
I'm very interested to hear if there's changes. Very interested from just the alcohol. Um, and then the next thing along with that is, like I said, I'm going to do some coaching. Share with me. I'm interested. So that's one thing, not to switch the subject from alcohol, but with diet and exercise, like I said, nutrition, exercise, all of those things. The thing that's most interesting to me is to see blood work change. I love that. Who cares if I mean, obviously it's nice to lose weight, but when you're in a certain place and your doctor is like, oh, you no longer have this issue, this issue, and this issue, that's the wins.
Right.
That's the
So
biggest.
that's the goal. So that's the goal. The goal is I have this one medication from this doctor and then this other medication that's nothing to do with that. It's more.
Mhm.
And so I want by the end of this year to have zero medications.
How much caffeine do you drink daily?
Well,
I so I will I just
well,
I'll get
maybe
a
coffee
I'm
cup
gonna
two and
get
a half.
personal with you from me. So I've been a coach for a long time, but also while being a coach, I ran a very successful business that was super high level, super stressful. And I would have caffeine all day. Also, while coaching people, I would have caffeine all day to get through a 16-hour day and, and have 200 employees and things like that. And it eventually gave me panic attacks from having too much caffeine. And I didn't know it was happening. And
Oh,
it's very important to understand that it can affect like your not only your heart, but literally I wore a heart monitor for 2 weeks because they did not know what was wrong.
oh
And it
my God.
wasn't excessive, like it wasn't where you would think it was the normal amount of when I talk to people, but that coupled with high stress, not sleeping enough, that's huge. Got to sleep. Not
Yeah, I've
sleeping
been
enough.
sleeping. I am sleeping.
Good.
I don't get
But
up in the middle of the night anymore. I'm so happy.
you want to try to stay under 300 milligrams a day. It will help you it will help you feel better for sure. It will help you feel
Mm.
better. So in the morning, like a average cup of coffee is like 80 milligrams. The eh, energy drinks are between like 150 to like 300 like the whole day in one energy drink. So like things like the white monster, that's like lower, Red Bull's lower.
Yeah, I
But
don't
yeah, if you have 3 cups of coffee in the day, that's okay.
yeah, I don't drink
That's
more than
energy.
that.
That's good.
And I have a cutoff time.
That's good because I have girls, they're like, I drink this. It's my it's a whole thing of
No, no,
coffee.
no, no,
It's
no,
all
no, no.
espresso.
And no, no.
All
I'm
right.
like about a 2.5 cup or 3 cups on the weekend, probably.
Yeah, that's
'Cause I
good.
have more time to like dilly dally.
Yeah. I love coffee. I love coffee. I have coffee every morning. First, I have water before coffee. It's good to have water before coffee. You want water to be the first thing that hits your stomach. Um, but the way to make my coffee more like to have more nutrients in it, a collagen creamer. Have you ever used a collagen creamer?
I drink black.
Okay. Well, it's just a way that if you have if you need a little bit more protein and if you're trying to get collagen into your diet, I always suggest collagen for women. It's great. Have collagen daily. Get your protein intake up. You'll notice the way you feel is different.
I definitely need to get the protein
That's
intake
the
up
that's
100%.
that's the struggle. And every single woman, we were talking about dieting earlier and like how the how it used to be and like, oh, you just had this, this, and this. The biggest struggle women have is actually having protein, like in the day, in the amount that you realize that you have to have. And it supports every function in your body, brain function, organ function, and building the lean tissue as well. So protein is the only macro that supports everything you need. So that's why I always tell people when you're having a meal, the first thing to focus on is your protein. Always. That's the star of the show. Start with your protein. And then after that, add your fruits and vegetables. And then after that, have your fats and carbs because those are the most important things in the day for you to have.
Well, Shannon, there's so much more to talk to you
I know.
about.
I'm so sorry. So we're
No,
going
no,
over time.
but there really is, and I'm really intrigued about your journey.
Mhm.
You said that you had ran a company of 200 people, and I'd love to know more about that. So I want to schedule another time with you when you have some, I know you're so busy, but when you do have some extra time, I'd love to hear I do interview people from like their journey of life.
Mhm.
There's a longer, but I would
Yeah.
love to do that with you.
Oh man, it's wild. Wild life. Wild 41 years to end
Yeah,
up
it would
here.
be great. It'd be great to unpack that. But before I let you go today, 2 questions I have. One, guilty pleasure.
My guilty pleasure? Oh, We are so boring, and even John talks about it. Like there's pleasure in being boring. We're so boring. It's a very basic thing. If we're talking about, it's an activity and it's so basic and it's everybody's guilty pleasure. I love going to Home Goods. Alex, like,
Okay, I'll take that.
we
I like
don't need
going to Home
anything.
Goods too.
He's like, we don't need anything. If I'm having like an off day, I'm like, I'm just gonna go to Home Goods. That's my guilt. That's the activity. That's my guilty pleasure. I'm just gonna go to Home Goods. At home guilty pleasure. Man, I like watching true crime. Like,
All right.
I'm a very basic woman. Give me in my bed with my 3 dogs and my true crime and a Diet Coke, and I'm like super happy. Yeah.
Whatever makes you happy.
Yeah, super basic.
And then my next question is, what are you most excited about your future?
So, me and my husband working to the more women I can help. So as we talked about my last career, the reason why I fully moved away from that is because my passion is really helping people and just contributing. And the business that we've built within the last just a little over a year with Cheplak Live Wellness, because we were both coaches before that, and then we just partnered with John to move towards that business. It's just helping more people. That's the fact that it's grown so much and we've been able to help so many people, and now we speak on stages, and there's people that we don't even necessarily coach that just use the information that we provide to them, and they'll come back to us and they're like, I lost 30 pounds just listening to you. And we're like, that is what I'm excited about. That gets me going. When I have a client check in and they're like, do you know I've lost 20 pounds? And I'm like, tears in my eyes. At the last event we were at, there was so many of our clients that made us cry. I'm like, and not that I get excited about crying, but it's just when you see somebody's life completely transform, and they did it. I didn't do it. They listened and they just followed. But you can hear when I'm talking about it. Like I get that's what gets me excited. Just helping when someone comes to me and they're like, I, was this and now I'm this because of you. And I'm just like, that's what gets me excited every day. It's just to contribute. Yeah.
Being in contribution and watching somebody's journey. And you know that when they come to you and they're like, I lost 20 pounds, like 30 pounds, and you know how much, not only does it change their physical appearance, but how much it actually improves their health. And our health is our wealth. So you're like helping people live longer.
Well, live longer. And even on the more like tangible end of things, we've had people that say that we had someone that we were coaching for a certain amount of time, and then they stopped and they just came back and they were like, I'm with you for another year, because they noticed in their P&L that when they were getting coached and they were being healthy and they were working out, that they made more money in their business. Like there's a number of clients, they're like, when I'm on it with my nutrition and my fitness, and because it's very mental, that they actually made more money in their business when they're on track, because it really gives you this clarity and this focus. And I'm somebody who thrives in being busy. So the days where I don't have a lot to do, I'm likely to do less. The days where I have more to do, I'm likely to just nail everything.
Isn't it true? I'm the same way.
It's wild. I'm like, give me a packed schedule and I will be like, I will get so much more done because it's idle hands. Like when you have idle time, you're just comfortable and you're like, I don't feel like doing that. I want to be busy because I will accomplish a lot in being busy. So yeah, there's just, there's layers to it. There's so many more layers to it than just, I like to call, we call ourselves strategists. Like I'm not a coach. I don't say I'm a nutritionist. I'm a strategist because every single person's life is different. And all we're focusing on is you being a better human being and just having a better life in general. That's it. That's all we want.
I love it. It was great having you on today, Shannon. Thank you so much for your
Thank
time.
you.
Yeah, I
Mm.
appreciate it. And you certainly are the solution. So thanks again, and we will see you real soon.
All right. I appreciate you. Thank you.